Welcome into another episode of the Flop Sports Podcast. This is episode 24. I am Preston.
And I am Daniel.
And we will be right back after this musical interlude.
All right, guys, let's jump right into it. We are ready for the big three today. And first up, Preston has some personal news about his trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, can we play the breaking? There's no trip to Disneyland. I get no trip to Disneyland. I got a trip to Minneapolis. If you want to call that the Disneyland of the Midwest. It was great. Not much you could say that was bad. I mean, it was kind of rainy there. We actually did a 1 hour live show, and then it rained the whole time. So my suit got very wet. But yeah, we were in Minneapolis for the Final Four, covering UVA as they won their first ever NCAA men's basketball championship in school history. So that was pretty cool. Got to go on the court like 40 minutes after the game was over.
You got to cut the nets down.
Yeah, and not a minute sooner. We were all just kind of standing there in the tunnel, just waiting for them to give us the go-ahead. But like CBS and Turner.
What's the coolest thing that you saw behind the scenes that no one else is getting to see on TV?
I think it was probably. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the locker room that's pretty cool after the game. Just like a lot of the guys that don't really play that much, taking pictures with the trophy and stuff. Yeah, you also have all the alumni that were there. Like, there were a ton of alumni there. Chris Long, you've got who else? Malcolm Brogdon, who we will talk about in a little bit as we get into the NBA playoffs. Justin Anderson, who plays for the Hawks. So it was just cool seeing all of them. Katie Couric was there. Tiki Barber. So yeah, it was just it was fun seeing all of them like celebrate out in the court and kind of rubbing elbows with them.
Did you get a photo with the trophy?
I did not get a photo with the trophy. I got a photo with the scoreboard that said championship on it. So that's what I got.
That's pretty good.
I took a photo of the trophy being held by someone else.
How many times did they play Old Town Road while you were there?
Oh, so many times. And I have you to thank for making that song stuck in my head for weeks on end. Because there's a great clip. We'll post this with the YouTube. A great clip of a Friends scene with Marcel, Ross's monkey, and him turning on Old Town Road. And I have not stopped listening to Old Town Road ever since Danny sent me that clip. But yeah, I don't know if you knew, but Old Town Road is actually Texas Tech's like adopted song for this season. So,
gotcha.
And that's who UVA was playing. So like they played it a lot. Yeah.
That's really funny.
I also want to say for the Texas Tech fans there in Minneapolis, they were great. We were trying to do a live shot outside the arena after Saturday's Final Four games, and they were very nice to come over and use their guns, pew pew pew, and like all kinds of fun stuff. They're a great crowd. Too bad they didn't win. All right, next up in the big three, some unexpected but huge news. Like the only news that could trump UVA winning a national championship because ESPN put it on the front page as soon as it happened. Magic Johnson resigns as Lakers president with a very, very impromptu press conference. Like that is the definition of impromptu. It just kind of happened. And we're like, okay.
Just spur of the moment. I actually got into my car and I was driving home the day this happened. I just put on ESPN and all of a sudden Magic Johnson comes on and is like, all right, goodbye, everybody. I won't be here anymore. And I was like, what? Did I miss a notification? What's going on?
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like looking like, on Twitter and I saw something pop up. I was like, "What?" And then like the notifications start rolling in, and they didn't stop for the end of the rest of the day, because that was Tuesday, right after the national championship game, and I was stuck in an airport for 5 hours in Fort Myers, Florida, trying to get home, and I just was sitting on my phone watching all of this stuff unfold, and I was like, "What in the world is happening?" Um, but I think this is kind of was my original take on it is, he said he wanted to be free, and I think this has a lot to do with every time Magic Johnson would talk about a player, like there would be like a full on NBA investigation into Magic Johnson. And I think he's just tired of that. Like, I think honestly, like, did he do enough to warrant this? I don't know, but I think the rest of the NBA was afraid of Magic Johnson and his influence on other players because of his, you know, the kind of charisma that he carries as a former player. So I think they were afraid of him, and so that's why they kept like being like, "Oh no, that's tampering. You can't do that." It's like I just said he was a good player. Nope, that's tampering. Boom, get out of here. You're fined.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I also think, he's such a successful person that before this he was living like doing whatever he wanted in like 20 successful business ventures. And his job now is full time, and not only is it full time, but it's full time with LeBron and the
yeah,
Lakers and Rob Pelinka, who he did not speak highly of in his goodbye conference. And I think Magic was like, you know what? I don't really need this, and he's right. And now he's gone.
yeah. I mean, and it was really interesting to hear. One of the things that actually kind of like triggered and be like, "Yep, I'm done," was the whole Ben Simmons thing when he said he wanted to, help Ben Simmons out, and like the 76ers like took offense to that and like set off this whole investigation into it, and it was just like he was done. Like he wants to be able to help like the next generation of players, and he feels like he can do that better if he is not connected to the Lakers organization in that way. All right, here's a good little debate that took over the NBA this past week. My guy Dwane Wade, he retired. He was playing his last game the other night, so we have no more Flash, no more D Wade in the NBA. It's super sad. Saved his last jersey swap, or his last jersey swap for who was it?
For Carmelo.
Melo. Carmelo, yeah. Saved the last one for Carmelo because couldn't swap jerseys with him any other time this season because he wasn't on an NBA team.
Yep.
Because like someone was like, "Oh, why wouldn't you do it with LeBron?" Because like he already did it with LeBron because LeBron actually is on an NBA team, like Carmelo. But all right,
Yeah.
so Dwayne Wade ended his career. Your guy Paul Pierce saying that he is better than Dwayne Wade, and the heavens opened up and rained down fury on him in the form of Twitter, uh, saying that he was crazy. You brought some stats. I got some stats. We all got some stats. So, Danny, what is your take on this debate?
Well, this is funny because obviously I'm a huge Paul Pierce fan, and I think he's an underrated superstar for like of his era. But I do
Sure,
not.
sure.
I don't think he's better than Dwayne Wade. But for the sake of argument, I did find some stats to make the case, and you can make the case that if you take point totals, Pierce is more than Wade. If you take rebounds total all time, Pierce is more.
Here's my thing about the point totals, though. Like Paul Pierce played like 4 or 5 more years than Dwayne Wade did. Like Dwayne
Yeah.
Wade's calling it like early, like really early,
Yup.
and like compared to Paul, who he had those great years with the Nets and the Clippers and the Wizards, like dude kind of fell off the face of the earth, but just decided to keep on going. Like Dwayne's somewhat stayed relevant, somewhat. Like he has not been the same Dwayne Wade over the past couple of years, but like At least he's like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm
He
not
did put
gonna.
up a triple double in his last game. So
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, like he's still bringing it. What did Paul Pierce do in his last game? Did he play in his last game?
I think someone let him make a 30.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dwane Wade here, and because like you could talk about the counting stats and stuff, but like per game, he still averages more points. Um, you talk about the stuff that really matters, All Star appearances. Including this year's that was just like a total gift from Adam Silver. And like NBA championships, he won 3 NBA championships. So
Yep.
I would have to go with D Wade.
There actually was a funny stat I heard, which was if Dwane Wade played every game next year and scored 0 points in every game, his career average points per game would still be higher than Paul Pierce's.
See, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I think it brought up an interesting debate because like they're not too far off the same level, but I think Dwayne Wade's probably got to be a top 3, top 5 shooting guard of all time.
Yes. Yeah,
Obviously Michael Jordan's way ahead of him, but I mean, you can make a debate against anyone after that, I think.
I agree.
Well, next up, buckle your seatbelts because we have all the info, all the debate for the NBA playoffs. We have the brackets, they're set. Playoffs are starting this weekend. So Danny and I, are going to break down all these playoff matchups coming up right now. Welcome back, everyone, into our special playoff edition. We have the NBA playoff brackets. These games are supposed to start very, very soon this weekend. So we are going to take some time now to break it all down, look at each of these matchups, and give the normal flop twist to each of these matchups as we do. So we'll start in the Eastern Conference with my Milwaukee Bucks facing the Detroit Pistons. This is interesting.
Pistons.
Yeah, your Detroit Pistons with your Blake Griffin affinity. You've got Blake Griffin and the Detroit Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. And the interesting thing about the Detroit Pistons is just a couple weeks ago we were talking about like the Pistons, challenging the 76ers as the 6th seed, and boy, they barely even made the playoffs. Like they really struggled down the stretch. I know Blake was out for like a game or two or so, but he was hurt for a couple games. But what do you make of this first glance? What do you think of this matchup?
Well, here's my question: who is gonna guard Andre Drummond? Who can stop that man? He's undeniable.
That's Budenholzer's going to be up for nights thinking about that one.
I honestly don't even see how Detroit wins one game against Milwaukee.
No, I don't think so either. Like this played out pretty well for Milwaukee. I think they wanted either Orlando or Detroit, and they got one of them. So I think this played out pretty well for them because they really don't have to worry. And for Milwaukee right now, you've got about 4 guys in their rotation that are out injured right now. Budenholzer said that Tony Snell is a stretch to be ready for game 1. Nikola Mirotic, they are hoping that he's ready for the game 1 of the first round. Malcolm Brogdon's probably out for the entire first round. And then after that, you've got, some other guys, Dante DiVincenzo, Pau Gasol, that are probably, they're going to be out. So they've got some injuries, and so it would be really nice if the other guys, Giannis, Bledsoe, Middleton, Lopez, could just kind of sweep this out of the way and get through. I wouldn't even be mad if maybe Detroit won a game, so that would kind of give these other guys some more time to get healthy. Guys like Malcolm Brogdon to get healthy and ready for the next round of the playoffs, because that's really where the Eastern Conference playoffs start, in my opinion. But I mean, someone asked Budenholzer, if he's has any thoughts on the matchup between Milwaukee and Detroit, and he says, I don't. So I don't think he's really all that concerned. So I would say a 4-game sweep here for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it was just Giannis on the court, I think it would be a 4-game sweep.
Yeah, they don't even have any. I didn't even talk about that. They don't have anyone to guard Giannis. Maybe Blake, or maybe your guy Andre Drummond.
Fouls
All
out
right,
in 2
next.
minutes.
Yeah, all right. Next up, we got your Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. This one actually might be pretty interesting. I think the Pacers could win a game or two here.
Yeah, I mean, Boston just been struggling all year long, despite the talent and Kyrie Irving. And Indiana is one of those like grinded out, play hard teams, even though they don't have Victor Oladipo. So I could see this going six games. Boston wins in six.
Yeah. Marcus Smart hurt right now, so it looks like that's going to be something that you'll have to watch.
We might be losing in five in that case.
Yeah. Don't have Marcus Smart. Oh Lord. Al Horford, Aaron Baines, day to day. So I mean, you got some injuries there, but I mean, yeah, the Marcuses have been so big for the Celtics. It's gonna hurt to lose Marcus Smart.
I actually
I would.
did. I read this crazy stat. Someone added up all the like defensive, offensive ratings when Smart is on the court versus off, and they're 15 points better on defense when he's on the court. So he actually does make a pretty big difference.
Yeah. Still, Indiana, they don't have Victor Oladipo. They were
So
able to stay afloat without him, but I would say Celtics probably in six. I think Pacers give them a little bit of a challenge, but I think Celtics move on. All right, and we got Philadelphia and we got Brooklyn. This one I'm actually a little bit more intrigued with because I really like Brooklyn as a team. D'Angelo Russell, Jared Allen, who's blocking everyone this year, including Dwane Wade in his final game, and everyone got really mad. um, what do you think?
this is funny. I feel like Brooklyn and also Orlando coming up, but Brooklyn's one of those teams that like the NBA writers have really loved all year.
Yeah, yep,
And so it will be interesting to see them go against just a stacked powerhouse in Philadelphia.
a team that NBA writers love to hate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I don't know. I think Philly probably wins in five, personally.
I would say 5-2. Yeah, I think Brooklyn gets like a home game in there, and that's probably about it. Like, who's going to stop Joel Embiid? At the end of the day, that's the thing with the 76ers is like for their lack of cohesion on offense, at the end of the day, they could still give it to Joel Embiid, and he can get you 20, 30 points.
Yep.
All right, Toronto and Orlando. Talk about a series that's destined for NBA TV. Uh,
For greatness to be remembered.
for destined for greatness. Yeah, just not a lot of people. I mean, Toronto is definitely a good watch, but I don't know about Orlando. I'm hoping to watch at least some of this because I think Orlando is intriguing. They're one of those teams that I like to see kind of sneak into the playoffs with a lot of young pieces on the team, and then after that, like see what they can do in the future. But I don't really see Orlando giving Toronto any problems. I think Toronto gets a 4-game sweep.
Yeah, the real question is who's going to stop Jonathan Isaac? Who on Toronto could possibly match up with him? What's going to happen? The intrigue. Yeah,
The
I think
intrigue.
I think Toronto wins this in four pretty easily.
All right, well, that's a look at the East. So right now in the East, we've got Milwaukee 4-game sweep. We got Boston in 6. Got Philadelphia in 5, and then Toronto in another sweep. Correct? Is that what we're feeling?
Yep, I agree.
You don't think Nikola Vucevic is gonna like lead them to a game? All right, so Toronto in a sweep. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference, and then we'll kind of take a shot in the dark at the playoffs down the road. All right, we got Golden State and your LA Clippers because you're in LA. If you
Yeah.
didn't know. All right, Golden State, LA. Do you think the Clippers can get a game?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if they can just get Kevin Durant to commit one more technical foul, all they'll have to go against is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and DeMarcus Cousins.
Draymond.
Andre Iguodala. Is it possible? I mean, the Clippers are not a bad team, and they have some
No.
heat check players, so I think they could steal a game, maybe even two if Lou Williams has like the series of his life. But there's no way they win the series, obviously.
No, not a chance and not a chance. I would say they get a game. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say Golden State wins in a 4-game sweep. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. Prove me wrong, Clippers. Prove me wrong. All right, next up, this is a really I think every matchup after that Golden State Clippers one is really intriguing, and I could go either way on them. You've got Houston and Utah in the 4-5 game. So Houston will have home court advantage, and man, that was bad for Houston to drop to the 4 seed.
Yeah, it really
Because
was.
now in the semifinals you got to face Golden State.
Yup, that was a yeah, that was unfortunate. But against Utah, I don't know. I think Houston wins this pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Houston will win it. I think Utah's just been so intriguing. I would actually say this one goes 6 or 7. I really think they've been on fire since the All Star break, just kind of like they were last year and when they got the upset over Oklahoma City. So I don't want to say we didn't see it coming when Utah wins, but I would say Houston wins in 7 games, and then they're in trouble in the semifinals.
Yeah, I think Houston 5. I guess I'm struggling to see like who on this Utah team is going to beat James Harden in like the last 10 minutes of a game.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, this next one is really weird because I would feel like it'd be the opposite because I mean Portland's been good, but injury
Yeah.
wise,
How did Portland get to the 3 seed again? They did this last year
they
too.
just know how to do it. I mean, the thing is, they don't have Nurkic, and that's going to hurt them a lot, especially against Oklahoma City, who plays Steven Adams, and they play big. So it's going to hurt them on the boards. If Russell Westbrook goes all inefficient team like he has been all year, then maybe they have a chance. If Paul George continues to not play at the high level he was before he got hurt, I think they have a chance. But I would go Oklahoma City in 6 here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go OKC in 7.
Okay, yeah, like I said, every matchup after that Golden State one, it's really interesting, including this next one, the 2 Denver versus the 7 San Antonio. Oh man, this just has pop written all over
I
it.
know, I've got I Denver has not had a great second half of the year. They haven't had a player like I know they have good players, but I think San Antonio takes it in 6.
I'm going Denver in 7. I love San Antonio, but I feel like Denver's just going to be able to get by on talent by the end of it. Because I mean, for everything that you could say, this is another San Antonio pop team. It's not. It's not the same kind of thing. It's not Tony Parker, Monta Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. It's not even Kawhi Leonard. It's DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. That's not the same thing. While both good players, not the same thing. All right. So
Yeah,
we
this
have
this is interesting because these are, I think, the 2 best home record
yeah.
teams in the league. So this could very easily, yeah, go to 7 with
That's what
just
I'm
each
saying.
team
It's
winning
going
at
to
home.
be they all win all their home games, or something crazy happens and they each win all their road games. When Popovich is in a series, you just never know what's going to happen. All right, but right now we've got Golden State in 4 or 5 games. We got Houston and Utah. Houston probably advancing in 6 or 7 games, or you said 5 games.
Yep.
All right, and then we got Oklahoma City over Portland, correct?
Yeah, in 6.
6 games. Yep. And then Denver and San Antonio, we split there. I think that was the first one that we split on.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you got
mean,
San Antonio in 6. I got Denver in 7. All right. Well, let's take a look at. We'll go back up to the Eastern Conference and kind of real shot in the dark and see if we can figure out who's gonna get through to the conference finals and then eventually the NBA finals. Milwaukee and Boston. Last year, I really thought Milwaukee should have beaten Boston in that first round series. Didn't happen, mainly because they had just gone through almost a whole season of Jason Kidd as their head coach, and they were still struggling off of that. Now they got Budenholzer. I would go Milwaukee in 5 or 6 games. Depends on how Malcolm Brogdon looks when he gets back.
yeah, this year, it's crazy. Milwaukee should have beaten Boston again, and somehow Boston pulled it out in a 4-game sweep. It was really
Oh
crazy.
wow! Oh
I
wow!
I think Milwaukee. If Boston looks incredible in the first round, maybe it's a series, but most likely I think Milwaukee in 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5 or 6 for that one. I think Brogdon will be fine once he gets back from that injury, and they'll be hitting on all cylinders by the end of the series. All right, then here's the interesting one: Philadelphia and Toronto. Like everyone wanted Philadelphia and Boston in a series, but I think Philadelphia Toronto is just as intriguing.
Yup, and also like the ever quiet Kawhi Leonard having to go against the most talkative team in the league.
Yeah, all of them. Because this is the thing, like this is a matchup of depth versus stars. Like Toronto, yes, they have a couple stars, but it's all depth. And then for Philadelphia, you've got 5, maybe 6 players that you should actually be playing in a playoff series. Like that is really intriguing to me, just to see what wins out there. Um, and I think Nick Nurse is a way better coach than Brett Brown.
Yeah. Man, that's so tricky. I think it goes 7. I really
I
could
think it
see
has
it
to. I think it
going
has to.
either way. Ugh.
I think it goes 7. I picked Toronto to win that.
Oh, I feel like Philly could win and then Kawhi Leonard leaves forever. That would be fitting.
He comes to see you out in L.A.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we can go Toronto, sure. Low
you
conviction
sound
choice.
you sound very confident in that decision. All right, so we got Milwaukee and Toronto. Let's go ahead and talk about that series. When these teams played during the regular season, almost every single time I feel like someone was out for this. So we have not really seen these teams go full blast at each other. Like it was either Giannis was out, Kawhi was out. I think the Bucks might have only played Kawhi once, if that. I don't have that in front of me, but I think like we have not seen these teams really go against each other. So this is a series that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, this is what a matchup, and also like a more veteran team overall in Toronto versus a very young team in Milwaukee. Again, such a like I really could see it going either way
Yeah,
because I have no conviction or opinion. But I think I'd lean towards Milwaukee, which I guess is the safe choice in this scenario.
going Milwaukee
But
in
definitely
7.
7 for sure.
Okay, I'm going Milwaukee in 6. I think Milwaukee gets that win on the road to close things out. I just think people talk about all the different guys you can throw at Giannis between Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam, maybe Serge Ibaka, but I think Giannis he's just too dominant in this one, and I really feel like during the season they've really been able to take advantage of this. I actually like Eric Bledsoe over Kyle Lowry in a head-to-head battle. Like I just think Bledsoe is way more athletic at this stage of their careers, and I also think Chris Middleton is hopefully going to have a good playoff series in like last year. So, all right, we got Milwaukee in the NBA Finals.
Unfortunately, we do.
Oh boy. So my LeBron James, he ain't in the playoffs this year, but I still get a team in the NBA Finals. There we go. All right. In the Western Conference, first up we got Golden State and Houston in the semifinals, and like I said, this is just This is not what you wanted if you're Houston. You wanted to play them in the Western Conference Finals, and now you got to play them in the semis.
Yeah, well, maybe if they can get Kevin Durant to get a technical, get
Is that your thing? I think Houston could get Kevin Durant to get a technical. Like I think
yeah.
they're the team that can do it.
No, I think Golden State would win in six. Houston, while they have come on strong the second half of the season, mostly with James Harden, yeah, I'm still Golden State all the way. I mean, yeah, what?
I like Golden State in 6. I think that's a good call there. Yeah, this is not the same Houston team, and I would have actually been really intrigued by a Western Conference Finals between these two teams, but in the semifinals, I just don't think it's like I don't think there'll be the same fire for Houston there because you're not one series win away from the NBA Finals, you're 2 now, and I think that makes a big difference mentality. So I would go Golden State in 6. All right, Oklahoma City. I don't know how you want to do this. I guess we can talk about Oklahoma City and Denver or Oklahoma City and San Antonio first.
We can defer to Denver. They're the 2 seed.
All right, so we got Denver and Oklahoma City. I don't know what to think about this playoff matchup on either Denver or San Antonio. Like I just don't know because like what Oklahoma City am I getting? Like
yeah, you're getting that Oklahoma City that could lose to Portland or could go all the way to play Golden State. Sure, Oklahoma City in 7 over Denver.
In 7 over Denver?
They got to win on the road, game 7.
Okay. I like all season I've been a guy that's like I don't think the Nuggets are going to be able to perform in the playoffs, and I've picked them now, and I really don't want to pick them again over Oklahoma City. So I guess I'll pick Oklahoma City in 6 to get to the Western Conference Finals. Do you feel differently if San Antonio's in this matchup?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. So Oklahoma City, Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. I have this in like 5 or 6 for Golden State.
Yeah, what I don't feel good about is how did Golden State get like the easiest path to the finals in years?
I know that everyone talks about how difficult the Western Conference is, and like, boom, like it's not that hard. It's not that hard for them this year.
Difficult for everyone else, but it seems like every team they're playing is like worse than they were last year, except for Denver, who's not gonna beat Golden State.
I mean, we've talked about this. Like outside of Golden State, like I think all 4 of the Eastern Conference top 4 teams are better than the Western Conference.
Yep.
Like I just think it's way more competitive at the top, and like sure. After that, I mean, Indiana's good, don't get me wrong. But after that, you got Brooklyn, the Magic, and the Pistons. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, the Eastern Conference isn't stacked like the West is from top to bottom. But I think the top of the East is way better than the top of the West outside of Golden State.
Yep.
All right, so that gives us Golden State and Milwaukee.
Let me go. I got this. Are you ready for this? You ready for this?
Oh, boy.
Milwaukee in 7.
Oh, wow. What made you go Milwaukee?
Giannis makes his name as the Shaq of the NBA. The man with the most uncontested dunks in 20 years just destroys DeMarcus Cousins, puts up 40 and 20 every game.
So he's going like straight LeBron like in finals, like,
but with a better supporting cast.
With a better supporting cast, you're absolutely right. Wow, I thought I was going to be the only one taking Milwaukee. So this kind of throws me for a loop. I'm still not going to pick Golden State, but I also like Milwaukee in 7 games. I think there's something about this year. Like I just think Golden State is very lethargic going into these playoffs. And I think Milwaukee has like a real hunger about them. And finally, Milwaukee has a competent coach and not Jason Kidd. That is the second time I've talked about it. So hear me out, Los Angeles Lakers. Milwaukee with Budenholzer, I think he's a better coach than Steve Kerr. I think strategy in game wise, like I think he is a better coach than Steve Kerr, and I think that's kind of what tilts it in favor of Milwaukee. And I think when you look at the matchups, like Eric Bledsoe is like the perfect point guard to guard someone like Steph Curry. You've got Malcolm Brogdon on Klay Thompson, great matchup. You've got Chris Middleton guarding Kevin Durant. Obviously, like there's no great matchup for Kevin Durant, but that's one where I feel like, all right, we can at least slow him down. You're never going to stop him, but you can slow him down. And then what? You're going to throw Draymond on Giannis? I'll take that all day. Like I'll take that all day. And then Brook Lopez, like they might try to take him out of the series by going small, but I think he's still going to be a threat out there, especially from three. Like I really like their chances, so I would also go Milwaukee in 7. So there's your NBA champ.
Yeah, I mean, here's to add on. I mean, is Milwaukee still the underdog, like going into it? Yeah, but is it
Absolutely.
possible that Giannis is so good defensively that Golden State can't get any points in the paint, and that Giannis is so dominant offensively that they can't stop him in the paint, which just completely changes the game for Milwaukee? Like, yeah, I think that's possible.
I mean, let's even look at this past series against the Cavaliers in Golden State. Like, they really never really stopped LeBron. Like, LeBron got his. He just didn't have the supporting cast to beat them all the time. And that's very different with Milwaukee. He has the supporting cast to do it. And he's going to go out there and put up huge numbers in these playoffs.
Yeah, and yeah, I really expect to see Giannis putting up 35 and 15 and 7 every game.
He's going to do something that we've never seen in the NBA Finals if he gets to that stage. Like,
yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He's going to do something we've never seen. Maybe it's make a 3-pointer in a game. But maybe it's make 2 3-pointers. How about that? Yeah. Woof. Hot takes here on the flop. But yeah, there's something about this team. And then also, this is not the same Golden State team. Like, they only go 6 deep. 7 deep, maybe. Like, they are not a deep team like they have been in the past. Like, Sean Livingston is not the same player. A lot of these guys are not the same.
Yeah, Andre Iguodala, not the same.
Yeah, he's not the same. He's still a good, solid player coming off the bench, but he's not like the world-breaking 6-man that you saw coming off the bench before.
Yep.
You've got Al McKinney playing a bunch of minutes. Like, I feel better. I think I would definitely favor Golden State, but I could see this one being an upset. This is not Cleveland versus Golden State. This is very different than that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, what a world. We just predicted everything.
We threw our darts into the dark, and we ended up with the Milwaukee Bucks winning the championship. How do you like that? How do you like them apples?
I don't like
NBA. I love them. All right, well, that is all the time we have for our playoff special edition. Of course, we will be back sometime after the playoffs start and talk about some of the stuff that's going on with the playoffs. But for now, take these predictions as word and listen to them and know that this is exactly how the playoffs are going to go.
Our word is your Bible.
Yeah. Wasn't going to go that far, but
NBA
all right.
Bible.
NBA Bible. There we go. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for the Flop Sports Podcast. We will be back very soon.
Bye, everybody.